I was just speaking to a client on the topic of being liked, and it led to a very interesting conversation about what being liked by other people actually kind of means. She struggled with making friends and feeling accepted and feeling like that belonging all of her life. And she's just started a new job, and she was talking about her team members, and she was describing how she just really wants to be liked by them. And I asked her how she was going about doing this, and she said, well, I'm just trying to be really nice and funny and, give them compliments and make sure that they feel good about themselves. I was like, interesting. Do people like us because we make them feel good about themselves? A lot of people say that people like us based on how we make them feel about themselves, but I wonder if this has got misconstrued. Now, I'm someone who massively struggled with bonding and a sense of belonging and friendships and connections for the vast majority of my life. And I learned something about where I was going wrong with this, so to speak. And I shared this with the client, and she said that it absolutely blew her mind. So I'm going to share it with you as well. I don't think it's about brushing their ego. I don't think it's about giving compliments. I don't think it's about being as convenient as possible when around that other person, or making their life as easy as possible, or deliberately adding value into the other person's life. I don't think it's about any of those things at all. That's what I used to do, and it ran me into all kinds of trouble. I firmly believe that people like being around people that understand them, that accept them, that care about them, that are interested in them. I think people like being around people where they feel seen and understood and accepted and cared for. For example, when I started dating my boyfriend, he was so interested in my inner world. When I would share something, he would have so many questions about it. It's like, tell me more about that. How come that shows up like that for you? That's so interesting that you think like that. Tell me more about that. And it felt great. I love my best friend, not because she makes me feel great about myself, not because she gives me compliments, but because she understands me and I understand her. And I have a feeling that that's why she loves having me in her life. We get each other. We're interested in each other. We resonate. I also love being around my best friend because we enjoy doing the same things. We have fun together. We enjoy each other's company. With my boyfriend, I love physics and my boyfriend loves physics. And we really connect on that and we enjoy that together. So another part of being liked or liking other people, I firmly believe, is having shared interests. I love deep chats. Not everyone likes deep chats. So I like hanging out with people who enjoy deep chats. I like hanging out with people that want to be active. I want to hang out with people who like physics. You're going to have a different set of interests. Imagine you meet someone and you see them play guitar and they're amazing at playing guitar. And you might say to them, wow, you're great. You're so great at playing guitar. And they probably heard that, like 1,000 times because they're good at playing guitar. But what if you took an interest in the person behind the skill? Like, wow, you're just amazing at playing guitar. I have a huge amount of respect for the dedication that must have taken to build that skill. If that was honest, and that's how you actually felt, of course. How much have you practiced throughout the years? And what made you stick at it for that long? What is it that you love about playing guitar? I think sometimes we can fall into the trap of like seeing someone, admiring them, being like, oh, I really want that person to like me. How can I get them to like me? Rather than kind of noticing the people and the things that we're generally interested and curious about, the things that we're generally vibing with. I think for a lot of us, it can be so painful when we've struggled with bonding or we feel like we're unlikable in some way and we can't quite put our finger on it. I think that can be so painful that we can sometimes get hyperfixated on the concept of being liked. For me, for example, it then became very, very tempting to try to control whether other people liked me or not actively. And when that happens, I think that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if we're trying to be liked, then we've kind of missed the point of what connections are really all about, and we can sabotage ourselves. I had massively misunderstood what I needed to do in order for people to love hanging out with me. Not everyone, that's kind of mostly the point, not everyone. I used to think that it was kind of like my job to get other people to feel good about themselves and to be as convenient as possible and be as impressive and valuable as possible. And that was sabotaging me because people didn't want to be around that. It came across as insincere, it came across as needy, or it was attracting the type of relationships and friendships that I didn't want, because it was also attracting people who needed that external validation, who were trying to soak up that external validation. It was attracting people who wanted to use me in their life for that validation. And the other thing that I said to this client was, let's not forget, like, if you are looking for these types of friendships, the kind of like relationships that you have with your partner that you really value, then yes, it probably means that you are genuinely interested in them. You genuinely understand them. You genuinely know them and you accept them and you care about them and you support them. But that's just 50% of the friendship. The other 50% is that they are also that for you. You feel understood by them. You feel accepted by them. You feel cared about and supported by them. That's what makes an actual friendship, when it's both sides, it's both people experiencing that. And so the thing is, though, is that what I said to her is that you've spent your whole life looking externally, thinking about people pleasing and how to get people to like you, etc. That having the type of friendships that you really want to have is going to involve you needing to be seen and understood and accepted for you. And that means that you're going to need to understand yourself. You're going to need to know what you like, what you don't like, what your values are, what fills up your cup. We can't expect other people to understand us or care about us if we don't understand and care about ourselves. And so I said to her, like, I don't think that it's a coincidence, as I've seen or supported professionally people in developing self-esteem, self-awareness, self-love, self-acceptance. I do not think that it's a coincidence that as a natural side effect, they start forming these connections in their life. I talk about this in the Detaching from Outcomes course that I created. As I started to build a relationship with myself, develop self-acceptance, get to know what I'm all about and start to love myself, that's when my friendships leveled up. I had pretty good friendships before, but my friends commented like, Rach, we feel like we finally understand you and see you for the first time, like we've got to know you for the first time. My friendships massively leveled up in depth and security when I developed that relationship with myself. It's also when I found myself forming a secure, healthy, meaningful, romantic relationship for the first time in my life. And these things happen just sort of as a natural side effect. And now it makes total sense to me why that happened. Before, my intention wasn't to fill my life with people that understood me. My intention was to fill my life with people that liked me and validated me. And I was doing the same thing to people in return, trying to validate them and give them compliments and make sure that they knew that I liked them and just try to get them to feel good about themselves. It's only by being aligned with ourselves that the right people can then have the opportunity to align with us. Do you see? As cliche as it sounds, but as I learned how to do that, it suddenly became very obvious how to do that for other people. As I started being more curious and non-judgmental towards myself, then I started becoming more curious and less judgmental towards other people. As I started to support myself in taking care of my needs and my values, I learned how to support other people in taking care of their needs and their values. And honestly, as I built a relationship with myself, it was so easy to build relationships with other people. The more that I liked hanging out with myself, the more other people started to like hanging out with me. So there we go. I think a lot of us misunderstand what being liked by someone else actually means. It's far more about mutual understanding and mutual acceptance and mutual care than it is about giving and receiving validation. If you want to go deeper on this topic, like connecting with yourself, aligning with yourself, detaching from external validation, then I thoroughly recommend that you check out the mini course, this series that I've created called Detaching from Outcomes. I recommend that you just head there to watch the introductory video to see what that's about, because I think it might be really insightful and really helpful for you on this topic. I've had many people already say that after going through that and they've learned to detach from outcomes and get to know themselves and align with themselves instead, that it quite quickly started to manifest in noticing that other people were enjoying hanging out with them more and they felt more accepted and with a greater sense of belonging, and their connections grew, which I don't think is a coincidence at all. And we cover that in that series. So if you want more information on that, then I will leave that link down below. You can check it out. I thoroughly recommend. There are a few other YouTube videos as well that I've made on this topic, and I'll leave those linked down below for you, which you can check out if you're interested. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.